On the phone this morning, Lori, with the greatest man that ever lived, TNA Superstar, Austin Aries. Welcome to the show.
Hello, gentlemen and lady. How are you?
We're good, man. Excited to have you on. Excited to have TNA Impact Wrestling coming to Jonesboro March 28th. The tickets are on sale. And I know that when we have the chance to see you live, it's one of those deals where I believe we should all go and take a look, right?
I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, obviously, it's big news. Impact Wrestling is going live on the road. We're bringing our television live. Obviously, coming here to Jonesboro. And, yeah, anytime you can see greatness live in the flesh in front of you, you can't miss that opportunity. So
we're looking at and Laura, we're talking to a former TNA heavyweight champion, tag team champion, X Division champion. What's left for you, man? What do you want to accomplish in TNA?
I mean, I guess all that's left would be the Knockouts Championship. I don't know if these ladies really want to get in the ring with me. I mean, there's the Television Championship, which, you know, I guess I could bring a little luster to that title. But right now I got my hands full in the tag division. Obviously, I still have my eye on being the World Heavyweight Champion once again. And, you know, basically, I always say I'm the common denominator of greatness. Wherever greatness is, Austin Aries is surely there as well.
So I guess because most of the guys in TNA grew up as lifelong wrestling fans, wanted to be in the ring at some point. Was that your story?
You know, I grew up a lifelong wrestling fan. I never really thought about doing it. I honestly, as a young kid, never even would have imagined how to go about that. You know, this is before the internet and all these things that kind of opened the world to everybody. So, you know, when I had that opportunity, I was in college and kind of deciding that wasn't the direction I wanted to be going. Mm-hmm. When a very good childhood friend of mine called me up, told me he was trained to be a wrestler, you know, I couldn't believe it. So I drove there and checked it out and moved on his couch a couple weeks later and never looked back.
Wow, it's kind of a wild story when you think about that progression. So at what point did you go to the family and say, hey, this is what I want to do?
You know, I think, you know, my mom, I always kept my mom kind of in the loop of what was going on with me. And you know, I think she probably thought it was my latest, craziest idea. You know, I was singing in a band. I was, you know, doing some other things that mothers wouldn't be happy their sons are doing and, you know, things like that. So when I told her I was doing this, I think she was at least happy with something that was legal. And then also something that she knew I grew up having a great love for. So if I was willing to put the work in that, you know, I think she was confident I could make it.
Well, who was your favorite as a young guy growing up watching wrestling?
Oh, man, you know what? It's weird. Like, people always ask me those questions, and I've just been a guy who's never had, like, a favorite or anything. You know, I have a collection of things I liked. You know, I grew up watching a lot of Crockett, NWA, so I grew up watching the Horsemen and things like that. And so, obviously, I think the Horsemen were people who were pretty influential on me as a kid, and then someone like Bobby Heenan was just such a big personality, so smart with his humor and witty in his timing, and I think that's something that I also was very drawn to.
So I know we're supposed to talk about wrestling, but there's something else about you that really intrigues me.
Okay.
So,
hang on now. Back her
up. So you're a vegetarian? I mean, as much as you work out and the amount of calories you burn, is it hard to stay with that lifestyle?
Yeah, I was a vegetarian for about 11 years, and then about 6 months ago I went completely vegan.
Oh, wow.
You know what? Honestly, it's you know, we're all programmed from the moment that we get on the earth. You know, we're programmed to think what a diet is or what food's supposed to be or what sustenance is. And when you kind of unprogram yourself to what the masses have programmed us to think, and you start to look at facts and you start to do a little research on your own, I've come to some different conclusions as to what's good to put in my body and what's not. And I think staying off of animal products and going with a whole food plant-based diet for me, you know, is the key. And it might not work for everybody, but you know, not only from a health standpoint, but obviously I think for me the disconnect was the idea of eating animals just isn't appealing. And I ask people sometimes, you know, there's this big outrage about a little bit of horse meat. So wait a minute, so a little horse meat we're going to freak out, but if it's cow meat, that's okay. And I guess for me, it's all the same, whether it's dog meat, horse meat, cow meat, chicken meat. To me, it's all kind of unappealing. And I think that as I grew up and got older and started to make my own decisions on what I bought and what I ate, you know, I started thinking about things more and came to the decision that leading a vegan lifestyle is what works for me. And, you know, as far as being an athlete, it just takes a little more preparation. It takes, you know, I bring a lot more food on the road with me, whether it's lentils or beans or, you know, they do make vegan protein powders that are made out of different plant sources. So for me, it's just about educating myself and not letting my nutrition be left up to corporations whose only goal is to make money. And that's basically what we have now. We have, you know, corporations who feed us food-like products, and their goal is to make profit, not to make a healthy, happy consumer.
I like that.
So here's one thing we have in common, is I was looking at your Twitter account, your little profile there. We are both master debaters.
Really? Very good. I actually went to a state oratory competition and won. Can you say you have that on your resume as well?
I can't say that. Sometimes I win in the studio. I don't know if that really is the same thing, though.
Yeah.
What? No, you don't. I'm just proud that you got master debater right when you said it.
You don't want to slip of the tongue there, and it's a whole different connotation.
That's what I thought that meant. Hang on.
Yeah, master debater. It can be a little tricky to say.
I own this, man.
That's right.
So TNA Impact Wrestling at the Convo, March the 28th. The experience is going to be something with Hogan and Sting and with you and all these guys that I'm trying to tell people it's a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing to have in Jonesboro. What would you say to people who are on the fence, maybe people who haven't bought the tickets yet?
Oh, get off the fence and buy your tickets. I mean, listen. You already mentioned Hulk Hogan. You mentioned Sting. You're talking about two of the all-time greats in this industry. But let's, if you look up and down our roster, I think Impact Wrestling has the greatest semblance of professional wrestlers going today. And the one thing that we do, that we try to do in all of our events, including this one, is we try to bring the intimacy to professional wrestling, and you're going to get a chance to actually get up close to some of the superstars and feel like you're a part of it. And I think that I think a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with Impact Wrestling, who are just starting to hear about it, we've been around for 10 years, but us taking TV on the road now is going to be a whole new level. And for these people, they have a chance to come and witness something that's kind of on the ground floor and that's about to explode, because I think right now we have all the pieces in place, and the last name of the game for us is brand awareness and making people realize that we exist and that we have some of the most talented professional wrestlers and some of the greatest sports entertainers going today. And, we're going to come here to Jonesboro, and we're going to put our best foot forward. I know the guys are all excited to be live on television. And, the energy and the excitement that's going to be there that night, I think, is going to be off the charts. And if you want to miss out on that and you'd rather sit home and watch some crappy television show, be my guest. But if you want to be thoroughly entertained and get a little taste of greatness, come on down, watch Austin Aries and catch Impact Wrestling live. And who knows, if you TiVo it, you might even see yourself on TV.
Austin Aries live at the Convocation Center with Impact Wrestling March 28th. Great to have you on the show, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for supporting.